Are you ready?
Oh, yeah!
Strap yourselves in for the Gaming Hub. With your hosts, Tyler.
You can't handle the truth!
Graham.
The force is strong in this world.
And Steven.
You cannot be serious!
Let's get started.
Alrighty then.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Gaming Hub. This is episode number 196. I'm your host, Tyler, saying thank you so much for joining us. And with me, as always, our two co-hosts, Steven and Graham. Guys, how's it going? How was your week? And tell me something fun that happened. Who wants to go first?
I can go first. Hi,
All right.
Hi everyone, Steven. I played some games. Played Railway Empire and The Witcher 3. I streamed a little bit of Railway Empire. I was looking for a sim game. I got tired of there's no good simulation games on the Xbox store. They're all like PC, and I wish I enjoyed PC more. I think I would enjoy playing that over everything else if I was comfortable sitting at a computer for long periods of time, but I don't. But that game's pretty fun. You set up trains, as the name would imply, and you have to manage resources and stuff like that. So that's pretty fun. And other than that, it was just getting ready for the school week. I ended up binging You on Netflix. Actually, really good. I heard a lot of people talking about it, but I was I'm not really sure because I knew the people that were talking about it. I'm I don't know if I'm gonna like this. But I watched it, and from the moment I started, it was addicting, and I binged through season 1, and I'm on season 2. Have any of you guys seen that show?
I've not yet. No.
Oh, well, you guys should.
So, yeah, I have a list way too long of stuff I
I was
want to
just
watch
gonna
on
say,
TV.
I'll add it to my list.
Yeah. So,
And and all these extra streaming services come out, and you see all these other great shows and programs, and it's just like video games. You just have a backlog. Will continue on forever, and you just accept that you'll never watch everything or play everything, and you just chip at it.
yeah, that's kind of how it is. But now, football's basically done. So on weekends, there's really no sports to watch. So I'm going to start watching some TV and get caught up on stuff. So, and some movies. I do want to watch some movies as well. I finally got around to watching the first John Wick. Steven was after me forever to watch
the
that.
first one, eh?
Yeah, so, and I avoided it for the longest time for what some people might consider a very dumb reason, but it's still valid to me, whatever. But anyway, I watched it. It was fun. It was good, and now I just need to get the second two, or the second and third one out of the way. And I've owned them forever and never watched it, which is the case with so many things.
Out of the way, it's a chore to watch those 3 amazing
It's
movies.
not a chore. It's just it's at this point it is out of the way because I have a list so damn long that I just need to start crossing stuff off.
It's funny. Last night I actually watched the first Bad Boys movie, but I was I haven't watched a movie on a weekday in a very long time. Actually, the movie has not aged well, and it wasn't that good.
Really?
I thought it was funnier when I saw it a long time ago.
It's very 90s now.
Yeah,
for sure.
it was not really good acting. The explosions were Michael Bay-ish. Everything about that movie was Michael Bay. I was hoping for a comedy. I should have watched Rush Hour because those movies still kind of hold up as the action comes. But the reason I brought that up was because I was gonna rewatch John Wick, and I was no, I'm gonna wait till the weekend, and I might binge them all back to back because it takes place. All 3 movies take place in the span of a week or 2 maybe. So
Okay.
it's
I didn't know that.
yeah, it's all back to back, so it doesn't spoil anything. But I was ready to rewatch them. I watched them back in last year. I think when Parabellum came out, I rewatched the first 2 right before, not even realizing Parabellum was about to release digitally, and then I watched that movie obviously as soon as it came out.
Yeah.
But it's time for a rewatch. Those movies are wonderful.
This weekend, my non-negotiables for TV watching, and Steven will laugh when I say anything that'll happen for sure, but as far as that goes. But no, I'm going to finish Mandalorian because I've been putting that off. So that'll be tomorrow. And then I also want to watch the first episodes of Star Trek Picard and Curb Your Enthusiasm, which returned last weekend, and I heard it was freaking great. So I can't wait to watch it. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. So anyway, I very in a roundabout way told you what I'm up to.
Did we figure out if Picard was weekly or binge
I think no, I think it is weekly.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because I'm pretty sure they released Star Trek Discovery in a week by week basis as well. Because they want to keep you hooked, you know, and buying the service.
You gotta-
Discovery was week by week.
You gotta let us know, Graham. You're disappearing from the screen. You gotta let us know if those are movies that like someone who hasn't seen much Star Trek would, or if that TV show is something for someone who's only seen like the new movies with Chris Pine.
Okay.
So,
My guess is that with the Picard movies, because there are a lot of cameos by actors and actresses that were in Next Gen, right? And even one from Voyager, etc. But my guess is that if you've seen the Next Gen movies, so what would it be? Star Trek 7 through 9? No, 7 through 10. You'd be just fine. You wouldn't have needed to see in the TV show, like it wouldn't hurt. But that's 7 seasons of stuff. It is, in my opinion, yeah, I get no. It's up there. It's one of the very best Star Trek shows. I guess I would go Deep Space Nine as the very best. But
seen any of those, so
yeah, just definitely don't. If you ever do it, because they're all on Netflix, so it's whatever. But if you ever do it, do not start with the original series because man, it is so corny and it is not aged in a good way in many different ways. So yeah, the effects in that, like you think Bad Boys age badly, you go watch some of the old stuff, and it's just awful. But anyway, Graham, anything fun, exciting up in the Great North, even though I'm further north than you?
Well, sticking with the theme of movies and TV shows, when Steven was talking about a comedy, I realized I did watch one called The Good Boys.
How was that?
That is the opposite of Bad Boys.
Yeah, that's true. I never even thought about that. I thought it was really good. It had some really good humor to it. The story was intriguing, and it was one of those movies where all the characters were like kind of good characters. Like you paid attention to what they were doing, and yeah, no, I thought it was a great movie. It's worth watching.
Was
Definitely
it funny in
Yes.
the way that fart jokes are funny, or is it funny in like other fashions?
And, like fart jokes are funny.
Like, is
no.
it like Ted, or any of the Family Guy stuff?
And this is the movie of like the junior high kids, right? Or
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
It's like I'm trying to think of the movie. I can't think right now. Where he's drinking the booze out of the laundry detergent containers.
I don't know. And the Super
Like
Bad.
Nick Lovin.
Super Bad.
Super bad. Yeah.
Yeah, with Nick
It's
Lovin.
kind of along those lines, except they're younger kids.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah. If
It
you
was
like
a fun.
Superbad,
They
you'll
played
like-
that trailer during the previews but right before Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I thought the trailer was fantastic. It was super funny, but I also thought maybe this is the type of movie where all the funniest parts are here in the trailer.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
it was.
don't know.
There was other funny parts, but
Okay.
yeah, some of the trailer did spoil it because I saw it when I went to go see It Chapter 2. I think that
Okay.
showed it.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a bit of a laugh.
All right. So now that we've finished our TV and movie analysis for the week, let's just remind everybody real quick that we'd love to have you join the community. And to do that, you can either go over to thegaminghub.tv. From there, you get links to like everything. But if you want to go individually, we have a Facebook group on Facebook, the Gaming Hub forums. We have Mixer. We'd love to have you join that. Hit follow and spend some sparks. Mixer.com/the_gaming_hub. It does help support the show a ton to just come hang out on the channel, spend sparks, spend embers if you so choose. We really appreciate that as well. That directly supports us as we get ready to attend events this year, like E3, which we'll be submitting our credentials for in 2 weeks, guys, and also some other events that we have goals to attend that we'll let you know more on as the year progresses. But embers do help a ton. So if you'd like to do that, head on over to Twitter as well, at Gaming Hubcast on Twitter. I almost said the old one, at Gaming Hubcast on Twitter. And finally, patreon.com/gaminghub. If you choose to support us, that helps out tremendously. Not just help send us to events, but help create more content, give better product to the community, and help grow the community at the same time. So we do have some bonus episodes on there for you to listen to. that you get access to for as little as $2 per month. So, all right, guys, let's talk video games. And there was some news this week. Let's start on the side of Xbox, where if you are in the xCloud beta right now, or trial, whatever we're calling it, you have some new games to play. And they are some good ones. You can get MCC, Halo MCC, you can get Destiny 2. Those kind of lead the charge there, but the entire list: Black Desert Online, Civilization 6, Destiny 2, Forza Motorsport 7, Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Sparklight, Superhot, The Surge, Tracks, the train set game, and those are the games being added right now. Steven, you are an Android user, so you could download this today.
Sure.
And yeah, so I know you're not a mobile guy. Any of these games stand out to you and say, yeah, it might be cool to try, like while I'm sitting at school?
Civ 6 would be cool.
Yeah.
Just, one more turn. I wonder how late game's going to work, because if you haven't played a Civilization game, early on, there's not much going on, especially because you can't see half the map, or more than that, so you're only in your one little area, and so you can go through like turns like super fast. Like you can go through the first 50 turns like speedily if you know what you're doing, and even if you don't, like you'll go through turns quite quick, while waiting. But then later in the game, when everyone is visible because you've discovered the entire map, and everyone has armies of like 30 or 40 people, and stuff, and then like there's a bunch of cities, like that tends to slow the game down quite a bit, even if you're playing on a monster PC, especially like the more users, the more civs that are in the game, right? So I'm curious to see how xCloud will work with that game. Like that is super interesting, and I'm definitely curious how the battery life will be on that too, especially playing that or like one of the Forza games or just any of those games. Like I want to know how they plan on making it so you can use your phone for longer than 2 hours. That's what I'm curious about. But I would like to try Civilization.
Yeah.
Graham, did you know that you can try Project xCloud starting January 29th because you live in Canada? And Canada has access to it starting the 29th. Now, there's another reason that you can't, but that's a different story.
Yes.
But,
and I was wondering, like, what about that phone holder? Do anyone know where you could get that?
I think you can buy it online.
Yeah, you can buy it online. I'm guessing places like Best Buy would have it too, like in the Xbox accessories.
So it's like would be an Xbox one, not a third-party one?
My guess, well, there's probably third-party ones that make it, but I would guess that you'd find it with the Xbox accessories in whatever store you go into, like at Best Buy or even a GameStop.
Because I haven't noticed, like, I've been into some EB games, and like I haven't seen it on shelves, so I was just wondering, like, how easy it would be to get my hands on this thing. But for reasons why I don't have an Android, there's really no reason for me to have one yet, even when the 29th comes.
Cool. Yeah, and I don't know. I really want to try this, Graham. I do. I can't wait until they get it approved for iOS. And it's not like a thing where they don't have the tech to do it. It's there. There's a prototype app for iOS that's running and it works perfectly. This is all on the Apple side, seeing it as competition for their game store, and
and Apple's got to give them permissions too, and Apple doesn't like giving up their permissions.
No, they do not. And in a lot of ways, that's a good thing, because I do value the fact that Apple. It is one of the reasons I stay with Apple. Not that I have any reason to worry about it, but at the same time, Apple's pretty good about keeping your data secure. Like they don't share it, they don't give it away. So, it's there have been cases even where like authorities are trying to get into the phone and Apple won't give it up. So, so Graham, when that day comes that you're on the run and they get your phone, you don't have to worry about it.
That's why I have an iPhone.
Yep. So, all right.
Flee the country.
So, yeah, but it's cool to see more games being offered. There's a pretty good collection of games already for Project xCloud, and I know the returns from it at E3 were all pretty much positive. People liked it. People had a good time with it. It worked. So I know it was one of the things that people came out of fan fest on the Xbox side saying, hey, this is really good. So it's nice to see it continue to grow, and hopefully we get out of that sort of beta stage this year and into full launch. I'm guessing that'll happen sometime alongside the launch of the new box.
Now,
which, yeah, go ahead.
The real question
Mhm.
is, how does this compete with Stadia? I see everyone asking that.
Yeah.
Does this end Stadia? Does this kill it?
I don't know. I don't know that this is Stadia's biggest enemy. I think so far Stadia is Stadia's biggest enemy. And just in some of the things that they've done with launch, I know a lot of people are not excited about it.
They're so new. I feel like they need at least a year.
Mhm.
Because these other companies, they have like quite the advantage. Like they've been dealing with this type of thing for a long time, and they're definitely more in the know than Google Stadia. So, but yeah, I think give them enough time, and maybe they'll have some really good exclusives to bring people on board.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because we've talked about Stadia in the past on the show and then off air, and none of us has really felt this urge to try it or anything like that. And so, what's the barrier? What do you guys think is the barrier to wanting to jump in on this? Is it a price thing? Is it the pricing model? Is it just that we already have consoles? What do you think it is?
Well, the thing is with the Xbox, like we can play games that we already own on through xCloud, but all these Google Stadia, you got to buy the game again.
Yep.
So that's a big thing to me that is a big turnoff. Because why would I buy it again to play this when I can use xCloud to play the same game and I don't have to buy it again?
Yeah, and I have the consoles, and mobile gaming doesn't interest me, and taking my games on the road don't really, because of the games I play right now. But if I was a huge Destiny 2 player, I think I'd have been more likely to upgrade. But also if I traveled more too. Like I don't travel besides to work and school, like because I just don't need to for work or school. So I don't have any need to like or want to play Xbox on the road because I'm not on the road, or play whatever game I'm playing on the road, and so like xCloud appeals to those people. And I'm sure if you're playing, well, I feel like you probably need Wi-Fi. You can't, like someone in chat said they played over Wi-Fi and they don't like it when they play over data, but it's not surprising because you need high data to stream these games like smoothly. So you really can't even play on, a road trip in the middle of nowhere, right? Or even on the subway,
Like hotel Wi-Fi is not going to do it here. I don't think.
No.
So that's a barrier. But I know I was talking to someone back when Pokemon Sword had just come out. I was playing with someone, and he said that at work he was playing in his break period, and he was playing Destiny 2 on his really old computer, and it was running perfectly. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
But yeah, I don't have the need to get into it right now. I like the technology. Don't get me wrong. I find it fascinating. It hasn't. I don't need to do that when I can just play on my, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, or PC, and get a better experience.
For me, the appeal is when I'm at work and I'm on lunch for an hour. Especially from a sports game side of things, it's the perfect amount of time to just play a game of MLB The Show 21 next year. Hopefully that'll be part of it, or Madden or something like that. It's just a perfect amount of time to just play a game and kind of just detach from work, which can be good to kind of get away in the middle of the day, not just physically but mentally. And so that, for me, that's the appeal of it. That's when I want it. And I don't take the bus or the subway or anything like that, so it's not that would be something that would be someplace that I would do it. But just that middle of the day at work, but I know some people in our community we have community members who bring their Switch to work and play it all day. I mean, I wish that could happen, but yeah, I mean, for people like that, this is great and it's perfect, and I just hope they get the iOS side worked out with them so they can have it on there and have that app go live. So
yeah,
but yeah,
I'm curious because when I was in the army, we had a decent amount of downtime. The phrase "hurry up and wait." It's definitely a thing. So we'd be waiting around, and we'd all like Clash of Clans was our big thing, and like we each had our own like clan, and we would play each other constantly, and raid and do all that. I forget what it was actually called, the raids, but that's what we did. So we had like a blast, but it burned through battery life on the phone. Like I was curious if this stuff was out back in the day, like would we have all been playing like Destiny 2 on our phone at work? And the nice thing about Clash of Clans, it kind of drop in, drop out. Like it's only 3-4 minute games rather than a 30-minute strike. But it's still like cool that it could potentially be there. And it was just something that came to me like just now. I was thinking back, but yeah. I'm interested to see what happens. I think Stadia is not. I asked the question, I'm gonna answer now. Stadia's not dead. This doesn't kill it. No. Let's see what happens. They're paying to make games timed exclusive on the Stadia. That strategy has not worked for some people in the past. I'm thinking Rise of the Tomb Raider as prime example number one, but it could have also been a case of that game released in a really dumb window. Really dumb. So it could be because it was the time, it could be because of the window. Who knows? Let's see how this works. I mean, it sucks. I hate timed exclusives, but I get it and it's not the worst thing that could happen. So I guess I'd rather, unhappily take that than something else,
Right, for sure. So, all right. Let's stick with Xbox here and talk about someone who apparently found one of the new Series X consoles just chilling out, laying around.
Just lying around.
Yeah. So some pictures showed up on Twitter this week from a Twitter user who claims that, I believe they claim they got the pictures from someone else. And they were of a Series X, and it has the serial number on there, all that type of thing. They said they, entered it on their account, asked, please don't ban me, all that stuff. But the most interesting thing, like, if this is true, we get to see a little bit of what, component-wise the box looks like. And, we see the standard HDMI, but there's no, like, pass-through for HDMI this time around. So we're not seeing that. Obviously the Ethernet, power, all that type of thing. A couple of USBs, but pretty straightforward. Thoughts, guys? I still think, I know a lot of people say this thing is like huge. I don't think it's all that big. It's just, well, it's thick, but that's about it.
Yeah. The way the pictures make it look, I'm curious how a disc's gonna fit in there. Like GameCube was so small, but they had separate sized discs, like they were super tiny.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be the case here? I think that's. Well, I guess it's not a mistake since you can't really. Well, yeah, it will because of the whole backwards and forwards compatibility.
Yeah.
Thing. I wonder if it'll be like. Actually, the way the back makes it look is maybe it will like come up like the GameCube used to, and then you stick it in rather than it being an enter and exit disc drive.
Like a tray?
Yeah, like like the on the CD, like an old CD player where the top comes up, and then you stick it down into the little clicky hole, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they do that. I think that's kind of a primitive design these days.
Yeah, and honestly though, Graham, I kind of wish it would come back because it's having the automatic one is it's one more thing that can break.
Honestly, I can tell you right now. I bought Bob's Burgers Collection. Great show, by the way. And I guess the discs are maybe a little thicker than normal Blu-ray. And I put them in my Xbox, and I went to eject it to change disc, and it got stuck in there. So I had to pull it out with tweezers. And obviously, because I wanted to watch another disc, I put another one in there. And I'm worried when I get to the end of it that I'm going to have to do the same thing. So I might only get to watch each disc once and just damage it on the way out each.
That might be something where, like, something's stuck in there, or something's out of, got moved around out of place, or it's just needs to be cleaned.
Yeah,
it might be the residue from, it just needs like a cleaning in there because it might be just sticking on some of that stuff. I don't know.
It's possible, but the thing is, it's really tight anyways, right? So it's hard to get anything in there because it's got like a little flap there stops. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm fingers crossed that maybe it was just that disc and I won't have to go through it every time.
Yeah. Going back to the back of the case, because anyone that's watching on Mixer can see it, and you can see it on YouTube later, episode 186, obviously. There's not that many ports, and it says that it's a, prototype, not for sale. Like, I saw people like complaining about the lack of, there's no HDMI in or HDMI out. Like, they're not separate. There's just one HDMI slot. And does that mean we can't watch TV? Like, that's kind of a cool feature that I used to use back when I had cable.
Yeah, same here.
And like, what's the long like flat part? These are all the questions. There's only 2 USB ports. The One X has at least 3. For sure.
I bet there's one on like the side though, or the front.
Yeah, there
I don't
could
know
be
if this
some
is
more
right.
around the
Definitely one
side.
in the front.
But I think this is probably more likely like a prototype box or a dev kit, even for someone that
Like
like
at the
some cleaner
PlayStation 5
or someone maintenance wise got a picture of during non-working hours and then posted it online. Like, I don't think the person that actually owns this Xbox is the one that leaked the photos, because they'd get in massive. They'd be dumb, and I don't think they're that dumb, because you'd have to be really dumb to do that. Yeah, there'd be massive consequences.
Because if this is real, they've already looked up the serial number to see who that got assigned to. And that person is not allowed to bring it on the road anymore.
Yeah.
And this could also be an office.
It could, it certainly could. So, and it sucks that people are so desperate to leak stuff and get it on social media that people have to be terrified. Like, I would be, if I worked at Microsoft and had one of these things, like, it'd be so exciting and cool, but at the same time, I'd be absolutely terrified at every turn.
That somebody will leak it and lose your job over it.
I'd have a safe in my office, and that damn thing would be locked in there the moment I left. Even to go to the bathroom. Yeah, even to go to the bathroom, it's going to the safe. Or it's coming with. One or the other. It's like in high school when they have you take like the Cabbage Patch doll or the egg, to terrify you into not having children right away. And you have to like carry it around for a week. Did you guys have to do that ever?
No.
I never, but I know people who did.
So, Graham, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I know. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I've seen television.
Yes, I know.
The bag of flour.
Television?
Yeah, the bag of flour. There you go. So I would kind of treat it like that. It goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's it. So anyway, but I don't know. I still am not sold that this is actually legit. But
I'm not either. Nothing stands out, which is a problem. But this is a dev kit, so I'm gonna hold my judgment until we actually see the damn box at hopefully soon, 2 months maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna wait till E3. I almost said at E3. We'll see it at E3 for sure.
Oh, we'll see
but
it there.
I think we'll see it before then. It's gonna be interesting.
I bet they do the tech reveal in May.
Well, with all the rumors swirling about the PlayStation 5 reveal, they might not be long after that.
Well, if that mid-February thing is real, we're going to hear real soon.
I believe it. There's been probably 10 different rumors that are very close to the same.
Right, but Graham, every time I hear a PlayStation rumor, I have to stop and ask, like, is this a real rumor that people heard from sources, or is this fans just really wanting this to
Graham,
be
they take one rumor and then they just repeat it in a different way.
Yeah,
they like
because
change it just a little bit.
They just want it to be true so bad.
Or they like steal the design from someone that designed the PS5 in dreams and then
I think we're going to see a reveal next month.
For PS5, probably.
Yeah.
That's my
You're
prediction.
probably right. But
now,
it might be later.
On to a new segment called Steven's Conspiracy Theories.
Yeah.
This week, what is the likelihood that Xbox leaked this to get fan feedback, to test the waters, as it were?
Yeah, that's a good thought. Because it's not too late to add anything in last second now.
No, you could probably add some ports without having to change too much.
Right. But pretty soon it is going to be too late to do that, and so there might be something to that. I wouldn't be surprised that there's a lot of gamesmanship that goes on during console launch years, and I could see that. I doubt it because like I said, I still think it's about 70% this isn't real, but it's possible.
Yeah, I think the most likely conspiracy theory would be Microsoft leaked the price early, like before Sony launches. Then Sony goes, and then we see the feedback, and like then they adapt from there.
Well, do you remember back in 2013, the conspiracy was that the theory was that Xbox went on Sunday, and or no Monday morning. They went or like midday. It was Central Time midday, and they had their briefing. They announced the price at $500, and then the conspiracy theory was that Sony huddled up and changed the price from 500 to 400 before that night. I actually got caught up in that at the time, but that was back in my Xbox fanboy days. And now
change of price.
Well, now when you look at it, like realistically, take the emotion out of it and step back. Like those presentations and everything are done and put to bed and locked down.
Oh.
Like at most or at least a week before they go. You know, there might be little tiny changes made in the last little bit. No, dude, I'm telling you now, there was not a change in price in
No.
those.
I don't think there was for that either.
Everything. Like you can't change that.
But
stuff.
there are things that can be changed last second and big things.
Sure.
I don't think it's just small changes that can be made. I don't think that conspiracy theory holds any water, but
But I think for the most part, these things are pretty locked down. Like they've got the studios in that they're going to showcase. Because there's so much that goes into like getting people in. When are we going to show your game? You know, around who, before who, after who.
But the price could easily be changed at the last minute without affecting.
Yeah, but do you know the levels? But not easily though, because do you know the levels of approval they have to go through, corporate on a corporate level to make that happen, and to reduce the price by 20% in a matter of hours. Like that is. There's a lot of signatures that are going to be and approvals that are going to be needed for that. So I just, I don't think it's true. I know we're getting way off track here, but, so I think a lot of the conspiracy theories in video games come back to like the emotion of it, which is cool. Like that's fun. But I think it's more the emotion of it than looking at it, from a realistic logistical standpoint. So anyway. Are you happy with it if this is the way it is? Like, if this is what it is, are you cool with that?
No.
No?
No, I'm not.
Okay. How come? What's missing?
Another HDMI port and like.
Do you want the pass-through?
2 more USBs.
Yeah, I think I for sure wanted to have more USBs.
I feel like a lack of USBs as well.
Because, dude, half of when I had the original Xbox, both USB ports were filled up by external hard drives.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucked when I had like to plug my controller in, or one of them was the controller charger and one of them was the USB or the extra external hard drive. But I bought a small. Like if I wanted to upgrade, I'd have to buy another one, and then I'm SOL as I say.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely more of those. And it's easily possible that there's some on a different side that we didn't see because they didn't really show the tops or bottoms,
the front
or the other two sides.
They've always had one on the front forever.
I don't think the HDMI pass-through is going to be there this time. That's
Why?
I got a feeling.
Why take out features that are so like it has to be in the UI because they had it this time. Like unless they built all new UI.
Maybe, but that tech was built around Connect mostly, and I think that they're just trying to go away from it. Plus, they have the data on who uses it and who doesn't, and I would venture to guess that it's a pretty small minority of people who actually use it. Because cable use, like actually having a cable box, is going way down. So
yeah, but I used it for other
in the market
too.
that they're right. I know.
I once used it to run my PC through my Xbox Play on.
Mm-hmm. I just don't expect to see it this time around. Like it doesn't exist on PS4, does it? And I just don't.
Yes, it does. They have not the pass through. Never mind. They might have. No. PSVR has its own box that adds the extra thing.
Right. So, I don't know. I don't know that we should hold it against Xbox for not having it. But I just don't see it this time around. So, and plus it's going to help keep costs a little bit lower. And I think they're trying to offer a really powerful box for a really competitive price. And so I can see it not being there. But I agree with you on the USBs. I think there needs to be a lot more. Maybe not a lot, but like there should be like 3 or 4 because most people are going to use one automatically for an external hard drive. So anyway, All right, let's continue on to some more bad news. I wish this had just come out last week so we could have been done with it all in one time. But Dying Light 2 is also delayed. One of the most impressive games in my eyes at E3 last year.
Mine
And
too.
yeah, this is a super ambitious game, and I'm actually totally okay with this because Techland is known for releasing games that are, shall we say, buggy, and buggy enough to give Bethesda a run. But I'm okay with them just taking their time. Get this right. This game looks so cool in so many ways, and they're doing so much stuff that's innovative and awesome. I don't want to see them come up short because they rushed it, so I'm totally okay with this. What do you guys think?
Yeah, this game's a year away now, at minimum.
Yep.
Probably 2. But
Yes.
I mean, all the stuff they talked about when we saw it at E3, like, it was amazing. I loved everything they were going to do. With the whole, like, you know, we're finally going to get where actions have consequences, and, you know, you might not see it right away. And there's not been many games that have done that. The Witcher 3 is, like, the only one I can think of that really stands out as doing it successfully. So everything they wanted to do, I didn't even think it was realistic to come out on this hardware.
I didn't either.
So I actually didn't think it was coming, especially since they never had the release date down. It was just a window, which made me think delay inevitable. And then, yeah. So I'm excited to see it at maybe this E3 and potentially the following.
I want to see it again this year, and I'm hoping we get a chance to.
I think more likely is we won't see it this E3, but we will next E3.
Okay.
But they might be here at this E3. You never know. But like, I think
I bet
Cyberpunk
they
will be here at this E3. But
I
Dying
feel
Light,
like
it depends what they need to do. Unless they have a new demo to show, I don't know. But I didn't expect this to come out. But now we have really nothing this year at all. So yay for us. But whatever.
Well, we'll get stuff. I promise there's stuff coming this fall that we don't know about yet. So we'll get it. It's just this spring now kind of sucks. So anyway, Graham, you know, one of the things I loved about this game, and I know you walked away super impressed, was like there are whole sections of the map that you will either get to play or not play at all based on choices that you make.
Yeah.
And I don't remember seeing that in other games. And the first time we saw Dying Light 2, we saw Dying Light 2 for the first time at was it
the year
E3
prior.
of 18? Yeah. It was E3 of 18, and it looked super impressive there. And they talked about choices influencing the game and changing the story as you go. And I know we all loved that idea back then, but then we got to actually go in one of those demos and see it and see what that looks like. And it was super cool. Graham, what were your favorite parts of it?
Well, my favorite part was like you mentioned, where you make choices and like you pick what factions you want to like join with or go against, and it just changes the whole outcome. And like I said, some areas are only accessible with like if you do certain things, like drain water in areas
Yeah.
or whatever else, right? So no, I really like that, and it just gives the game so much replayability.
Mhm.
So like to me, that's why it seems like this is delayed, because it's just super ambitious, and some people think that it won't be out till the next gen, which they said
I think
they're not
that's
going to
true
be
at
doing
this point.
something for that for a year or two down the road after it's out. So that's going to push it pretty far down the line.
Mhm.
And like I'm okay with that if that's what they need to make this game. And games so ambitious as this, it seems like it does need the computing power. So sure, take
It's
your
not
time.
that far down the line though. 10 months away. That's not that
Yeah,
far.
for the new consoles, yeah.
Yeah.
But I see Dying Light 2 now
Like
as
a
a
year
fall.
after console.
Yeah, I see it as a fall 21, spring 22 release now, because they put, usually when you get a delay, it's like, hey, we're really sorry. We need to put a little more time into this so we can make the best game possible for you, blah, blah, blah. You know, and it ends up, they give you a new window at the end of that. You know, if not a new date. And there was nothing like that this time. Like, there's no window, no date, no anything. It's just, you know, we'll kind of let you know when it's ready.
I think it'll be an
And-
18 to 24 month window. Maybe
too.
12, but I think that's unrealistic.
I agree. So you're thinking the same thing I am. So fall next year into spring of 22. That's kind of where I'm at.
Because if it was coming earlier than that, they would have said,
Mhm.
like, we're hoping for an early release, but they didn't give a window at all.
I also think at this point, I wonder if the conversation was had. That's like, if we're going to delay this, should we just build it for the new gen? And I'm all for that because I think they need that type of power to make what they want to do a reality. So I'm good with it. And take your time, get it right. Like I said, one of the most impressive demos I saw. Remember, we were raving about this. Like, so many people weren't talking about Dying Light at all coming out of E3. And I remember we kept going on about it, being like, guys, don't sleep on this game. This game looks super good. So it still does. I still have faith in them to get that. What they're trying to do is awesome. Take your time, get it right. All right. So, Xbox adaptive controller. So we're sticking with Xbox a little bit longer. And this is kind of a cool story. So someone took an Xbox adaptive controller and made it Nintendo Switch compatible. Now, it wasn't manufactured this way. It wasn't built that way. But someone took it and made it for someone to use. And they're playing Breath of the Wild with it. And it looks super cool. It's all lit up and green and all this stuff. Guys, just kind of a feel-good story, right?
Yeah, great story.
Yeah, Rory Steele made it at Jersey IT Guy on Twitter
Cool.
for his daughter, and it's
Yeah.
pretty awesome that she could play Breath of the Wild. And that's like one of the really cool things. Like when the adaptive controller came out, remember the sappy commercial of the kids running down and celebrating the other kid that like succeeding and playing and beating a game.
Such
And
a cool
yeah,
controller.
the controller is like awesome. I love that Microsoft made this. I love that they made it. They did make it available to be used on other consoles, but none of the other consoles has taken them up. But it's good to see that at least somebody, made it and adapted it, and hopefully, someone could get his expertise and I don't know, kickstart something to where they can take the design and make more of these for people that need it.
Like he was saying, it was like a prototype, and his plan is like to redo it so like all the wires are hidden. So basically, it's like a controller on top of the Xbox adaptive one, and you just map all the buttons. So the thing is like just a monstrosity of everything together.
It's huge.
But like, it was just seeing if he could make it work, and then he's like, okay, after I get this, then I will like hide all these wires, because you can just see all those wires just being like caught on stuff. And if you got pets, obviously cats are going to play with it because that's what they do, to ruin all your wires. But yeah, it's great to see that he did that, and like Xbox made something so you can make other devices go with it as long as you know what you're doing and you can map the buttons. So yeah, it was great to see, and picked a great game, Breath of the Wild.
Well, I was gonna say, Graham. First of all, I think like this is a version of many Xbox executives' dreams coming true, where someone's playing Breath of the Wild using an Xbox controller. But same time, a little bit of props to Microsoft here for not coming in with the legal hammer and doing anything like that. They just.
I don't understand how they would, but
I know,
more
but
likely
it might,
Nintendo.
right? But neither of them doing that, and I think they both deserve credit for just being like, this is a really cool story. Let's just let it be that. And because we've seen things in the past where others would say, no, you can't use our hardware in your thing, or your hardware in our thing, or your whatever. So also good to see that too. So all right,
Credit's a bit strong, but I get your point.
sure. So Destiny 2. And we haven't played this game for a while. Steven, you're the biggest. I would say you liked the game the most. I shouldn't say the biggest fan. You liked it the most.
And I like the game the least.
You did. That is correct.
It's a fun game. There's just some things, and I know over time now it's gotten way better, and they've added stuff on. But it's hard to keep me once you lose me when there's so much other stuff.
Yep. But what made them lose you?
The repetitiveness.
Okay.
Like the enemies seem like the same. The levels seem pretty generic. But and I wasn't into the whole raid thing. I know that's a whole niche of people that love that thing. They've been playing it since the first Destiny, and I never played first Destiny. So yeah, no, it's good. I'm glad to see that it's still being supported, and it's got a huge fan base. So there's no reason for them to stop now.
Yeah. So, Steven, did you get the Bastion fusion rifle?
I did not, because I haven't bought the new expansion, Shadowkeep, I think it is. I played Forsaken, and I finally beat it like right before Shadowkeep came out. But I was like, I have no one to really play with. It's fun playing on your own, I guess, but I kind of like doing the raids and the strikes, and I guess I could, and I don't know, I just fell so far behind that I just was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So your thoughts though, because these new events now have end rewards that are guns or actual things to use in the game, but you can only get them if you do this, and if you miss it, you're never gonna get it. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't like that. So, Paul Tassi of Forbes wrote an article about Bastion and Destiny 2's puzzle thing, and it's one obvious flaw, and that is like it's timed. If you're not there in that like 2-week window, like you lose out on lore and other things. And I'm still not sure if you can't get the gun, but if that's the case, like that really, really, really sucks. And actually, you can still get the gun, but you can't get the anti-barrier weapon part of it. So, like, that sucks for anyone that's like on the road. Like, say they're on the road in the 2-week window and they can't play Destiny 2 or whatever reason they're not playing. Like, it sucks for them that they're not going to be able to get, the gun. And like someone just said in chat, some people have lives. Yeah, some people can't be playing all the time, like kids, and they like playing whenever they get the opportunity, but they may not. They may have to take a week or two off. Like, I don't know. Timed exclusive stuff is, or locked in a certain barrier is really shitty to me. Like, I don't mind if it's cosmetics. Like, if Bastion had its own exclusive skin for doing it in this time, like, that's cool. Like, you played during that, and so now you get that skin. Like, that's fine. But if you can't play and you can't get the best part of the new gun, and you miss out on the lore and stuff, like, that's pretty shitty. So, that's my thoughts.
Okay. So, I look at it just slightly differently. I totally get what you're saying, and I do agree. As someone who's played Ultimate Team for a long time, and I'm used to the timed events. Now here's the difference though. So yes, there are in Ultimate Team like some players that you can get only for like those cards are rewarded through limited time events. However, after that event is over, you can go into the auction house and buy it from someone else if you want it, and you're just going to pay a super inflated price. But so it's still available afterwards. So there is a difference. And, I don't know. I'm just a little more conditioned to be used to these types of events, but that doesn't make them right for everyone that plays the game. And I think especially in a game like Destiny, I know they're trying to play on the whole FOMO effect with people, but at the same time, because they want you to just keep playing the game, but at the same time, you got to make it so that people don't get discouraged because they feel like they have to play every day or every week to get something. So, and people in chat are saying like, they might stop playing the game because of this if they did play it. So, I don't know. Graham, your thoughts?
Yeah, this time exclusive and locked under same period. Like this guy said, they do have lives or something might come up, a medical, something serious, and they might be like hardcore into this game, and then obviously they're going to leave the game for this reason. And the fact that lore is attached to it, that's huge, and it's not necessary. Like, you're not losing people, and you need to do these things. You're going to lose more people doing this. So I don't understand it. I know sometimes companies make bad decisions and they quickly regret it. We're not going to go. If you don't need to think too hard to come up with examples of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it sucks. And if I was in this situation, I would be upset for sure.
Sure.
And I can see why they're getting a little bit of backlash. And hopefully they do something about this.
Yeah, because in vanilla Destiny 2 with the first raid, there was one specific special weapon. I think it was called Cold Fusion, but I could be wrong. But it basically shot like an ice beam type of thing, and it was the most effective way of taking out the raid boss. So if that weapon was timed exclusive, anyone that did not get it in that window is basically like SOL, because every other weapon was bad at taking them out, like besides rockets. Or it wasn't. No, it wasn't a special. It was like the middle one, the one that used the special ammo but not heavy. I think it was the special weapon, but not a heavy weapon.
Yes. Yep.
So that sucks. If you can't use the weapon that's like basically designed to take the raid boss out, you're locked out of more content, and the raid boss is how you get the best drops. So then you're locked out of further content, and it's just a vicious cycle if you don't actually like understand the consequences of doing this sort of thing, because you can mess with the meta and you can make it unplayable for certain amounts of people.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, you're absolutely right. So, and that's a good point. And you know, the other thing, because I'm talking myself out of my Ultimate Team argument at this point. But I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, no, that's actually not as good of an analogy as I originally thought, because you know the other thing too is in Ultimate Team, like that's one mode in the game of whatever game I'm playing, and whereas with Destiny, I mean, you're either doing the strikes or the raids or the PvP, but it all kind of works together, you know, and none of them are really exclusive to each other. So it does affect your experience in the game when you do this, or when you prevent, I shouldn't say prevent, but make it so people have to play it religiously to get everything. And I know people, though, that, like, took pride in the fact that in Destiny 1 they collected every single weapon and thing that was there, and you're just messing with those people at this point when you have things like this, because now you're like, people are gonna lose jobs because they're staying up till 4 in the morning doing this crap. But
skins,
anyway,
man, make them exclusive skins, timed skins, timed ships. You can make timed ships, because who gives a shit what ship you're using, like,
or the whatever they're called, the speeder thingies.
Yeah. There's like a gazillion things you could do, and you make it a time like exclusive, not weapon, but part to the weapon. Because now, if I was interested in going back, say Shadowkeep goes on sale, but I now know this, why would I do that? Because I can't even get, I don't know how good Bastion is in the whatever meta we are in Destiny 2, if even it has metas. But there's the possibility in knowing that if that's an effective thing and I can't use it, like, why even try?
Yep.
Because there's a million other things that could be playing.
No, absolutely. So, all right, guys, let's end. Well, we're not ending news, but second to last thing, let's go to some good news. And especially for me. According to reports, a new Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game has been greenlit by EA. And, you know, I think you can file this in the content of, like, no shit. But, because I think we all kind of knew that this was probably going to happen. And there's been a lot of chatter of this for a long time. But we're actually hearing just a tidbit more on it. So one report said it's going to be basically a remake, full-on remake, and another one said no, it's going to play more like a sequel. So question, which would you prefer, gentlemen? The remake or the sequel? Graham, pretend you're a huge Star Wars fan and answer this.
You know, I'm going to say remake, because people have loved the original, and like obviously it's not aged well because it's a lot older game, so I think that would make people happy, and that way, because they have the fan base, people love it. It was a great game. Some people say it's the best Star Wars game ever. So if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Okay,
good enough. Steven?
Absolutely 100% remake the game.
Okay.
The Revan story is absolutely amazing. I've read the book written by Drew Karpyshyn, the writer for Knights of the Old Republic, and for the Old Republic, the Star Wars game. The Revan stuff in the Old Republic, the expansions were awesome. I loved it. I think I'm the only one that ever played any of the Knights of the Old Republic or the Old Republic games. I absolutely love the series. Great RPGs. One of the first RPGs I ever played. I was terrible at it. I didn't understand half of it, but I was still having fun. And like, I think I replayed the first level because I couldn't get out of the second level like a million times because I was really young. It was on the OG Xbox. But no, fantastic game, fantastic story. What I'd worry about is them succeeding in like making the story as good as it was back then. I actually liked it quite a bit, and I know they want to get into the lore. Give me everything, remake it, new systems, but make it better. And yeah, I'd play the whole ever-loving crap out of the game.
Yeah,
give me that. I
so
need it.
So for me, I'm actually going to go a different route. I'm going to say reboot rather than remake. And Steven, it's mostly for the reason you just said. I think if you're trying to recreate that title that everybody loves so much, it's just going to end in a lot of people being pissed off. And imagine that with the Star Wars community. But I think you reboot it. Everything you do now is canon, so I think you stay true to the character. You stay true to the time and all that stuff. But give yourself the latitude to do some things a little bit differently and not be completely bound to what the first game was. That's my thought, and I think that might get the job done in terms of like still being true to the character and the world that created during that part of the timeline, but being able to do different things, kind of like the Star Trek, the new ones, where they got rid of the planet Vulcan, so it kind of reset the whole entire timeline, and now they can do what they want. But I don't know. I'm kind of a fan of just doing the reboot rather than the pure remake.
Well, if you kept the overarching story and then changed everything else, like the Revan storyline, I think is amazing, then fine.
Yeah, like I said, be true to the core story and the core character, but give yourself the latitude to do little things a little bit differently. And I think that's the win-win for everybody. And granted, there's still going to be fans that are pissed, right? And that's always going to be the case, especially with this franchise. It's the way it is.
So, would you get over your hatred of RPGs to actually play this game and beat it?
I don't hate RPGs. I hate certain elements of RPGs. I do hate certain elements of RPGs.
And all the elements that I know you hate are the elements that are in Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2.
But the answer is yes, I would. Because it's a canon story that, I absolutely want to take part in and do.
All right.
Yeah, 100%. Remember, we talked about this. Like, I asked if it was worth going and playing because it's backwards compatible, right? And I have it. Like, is it worth going back and playing? Does it age well? I remember asking you that, and I remember you saying this was off air. You said not really.
It works better on the Xbox backwards compat than PC. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I still might go give it a go at some point.
Does that mean you're beating Jedi Fallen Order soon?
Oh man, that's a whole other topic for another time. I don't know. I want to love that game so much, but I don't know. I think you and I are about the same. Or you're a little further.
No, I'm way ahead of you.
You're way ahead of me. Okay. So yes, but I am going to go back to it. I promise. And I just need to figure out what I'm doing wrong in this one part. But it's really turned me off to the point that I've almost walked away from it completely. So anyway, or I have walked away from it completely. So yeah, but we have a new Knights of the Old Republic game on the way.
At some point.
Yeah, but it's on the way. We just don't know when. And yeah. All right. Steve, when's the last time you went to GameStop?
October 31st.
Okay.
2019.
Halloween.
Yep.
Yeah.
Halloween. Was it for a Halloween party?
No, God no. Yeah. There was a little known title, Luigi's Mansion 3, coming out. And I was like, hey, I want this, so I'm going to go buy it. So I went over there, and I go into the store, and I'm like, hey, do you guys have Luigi's Mansion 3? And they're like, did you pre-order? I was like, no. And they're like, well, we only have enough copies for our pre-orders. And I'm like, okay, well, now can I get a, SD card? And they were like, all right. And then so I got the non-Nintendo one because, same size, save $10. That's a topic for a different day. And I think I picked up something else, and I was like, okay, bye. And then that was the last time, and now I'm never going back because what's the point when I can buy everything digitally or buy, games at Walmart, Best Buy, Target, any of that without having to pre-order.
Yeah. So what you're getting at here is something that we've, a lot of people have experienced. And the reason we're talking about this, because there's a pretty interesting article this last week on GameStop and about how the experience at GameStop has changed so much in the last few years. And the experience for customers, the experience for employees as well. And I think that we want to make sure we mention that here. But this GameStop used to be a place where you could go as a gamer and hang out and just talk about video games and have a good time. And employees were encouraged to do that. They were encouraged to engage you about video games and talk about it and enjoy it together. But now it's become a situation where I feel the employees are pushed in many cases to focus on measurables. Things like how many pre-orders are you getting? How many of the power-up things are you doing? How many trade-ins are you getting? All of this stuff. And they feel like they have to ask you like 30 questions before you can even buy anything. You know, and I think it makes their life miserable. It certainly makes customers' life miserable. Like, I hate that stuff.
Yeah.
When I go anywhere. Like, I get annoyed when I go to a store and they ask to sign up for the credit card. That's one question, and I get ticked off there. And, you know, quit trying to sign me up for your 22% interest credit card already.
And
That's the
asking
big
me do I
one.
have air miles. Like,
Yeah.
I will tell you if I have air miles. I don't need you asking me.
Oh, they don't do that here for us.
Yeah. So, and I'm not just saying GameStop. I'm saying anywhere with the credit card. Like, there's so many places that do that crap.
I know.
And the credit card's always at the low rate of, you know, 28%. But anyway. But now, I do feel like GameStop's changed. So, Steven, I want you to kind of tell a story. I don't know if you've ever shared this on air. But you especially have a reason to still be loyal to GameStop.
Yeah, at one point, and they kept me around for a while, even after my terrible experience with the Switch pre-order. So I won their like big power-up rewards, like mega prize, grand prize for one of the months. And it sent me down to San Diego to meet Dave Mustaine and the rest of Megadeth, and I got like a signed guitar, and I know Graham gets super jealous. I love telling the story to him.
I do.
You still have it?
Yeah, oh yes, I do. And I
You're
got like
never gonna read that, are you?
oh no, and I have a signed copy of his book and everything. It's awesome. That was super fun, and like I didn't even, you know, you can use your points to, you know, get extra entries, but I didn't. I just, you know, happened to win. Got lucky. It was like my luckiest moment ever in my life. And I really liked their like power up rewards thing. I thought that was like one of the coolest things I ever did because I got a bunch of, you know, about once or twice a year I'd get a $50 off thing to, you know, get basically a game for $10, and that was pretty dope. And there's a bunch of other coupons. I never really used it for the physical merchandise, but they had that, and I really liked it. And I shopped there for a long time, and I liked the experience. I liked going into the store, and I never really had a bad one. But it just kind of, you know, went downhill, and I stopped going as much, and yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
So, but you won that contest. Like, that should have created customer loyalty for you for a long time, and it did. But somehow they managed to mess that up. We asked our community their thoughts on GameStop today versus a few years ago, and the results were varied. So let's take a look at a couple of those comments now. Casey wrote in, I've never had an issue with GameStop. Every time I go there, it's great. The people are helpful or knowledgeable, at least at my GameStop. And he said, of course, they asked you if you want to be a Power Up Rewards member. And that's because they have to. He doesn't blame them for that. And I'm not taking anything again. I want to be clear. The employees, they're just doing what they're told. These are decisions made at a much higher level. Despond says, the GameStop near me was great. The people were friendly. Did not push anything, were pretty helpful. Sadly, that store got closed now. The closest one is 35 minutes away. I never really had a bad experience in any of the stores I visited. Sadly, the reality is the one that was close to you that never pushed anything on you is probably part of the reason they closed, because they weren't hitting those things. Piracy says, great experience with GameStop, actually. He had a broken controller, didn't have the box order receipt, and the manager there was like, no sweat, just pick out a new one that you like. So that's great. We had Viking Sully say, I remember it was so cool maybe 10 years ago. Midnight openings and tailgating for Madden. I think video gaming in the 360 and PS2 and 3 era was so mainstream that it appealed to everyone. He said, but I was so into the games, not all the spin-offs like clothing and collectibles. My only beef said when you go there now, I think they'd rather sell me a collectible than a game. And the article that we're talking about, he says, is spot on with new releases. If you didn't pre-order, you couldn't get one in his experience, even though stores like Walmart and Target had plenty of copies. GameStop only had enough for reservations. So, going over to Facebook, Mike Cormier, I've never had any problems at mine ever. Great staff. They've done some some stuff for me that they've done some stuff for me they didn't, but they did because I'm a good consumer for them. So I think maybe some stuff that they maybe shouldn't have done. Andrew Room, I like using the used game section still, but it's silly how little they pay for some games. Giving me $1.75 just pays for the gas I used to drive to the store. And Billy McKay, giving up going to game stores in my area since the staff gave up selling. So, and I think what we're getting at there with that comment is, kind of the getting away from actually interacting with people and talking about games. Well, and the sad thing is, Graham, is that that's not really their job anymore. It should be, but it's not. And it's so pushed towards, the pre-orders now and getting people locked in whatever program it is. And I've heard stories before about, them taking advantage of like language barriers to get people to sign up for the rewards thingy and things like that. Or having somebody come in to get a game and they just had like cash to get a game, and instead they talked them into getting the rewards because you had to pay for that, right? Wasn't it? What was was it like $10 a year or $20 a year?
Oh, it went up. They had 2 tiers recently. One was 30, one was 15, but it used to be 20 or 30. But you also got the Game Informer subscription, and I thought that was worth it.
Yeah, I get Game Informer, and I get the actual magazine. I don't get it digitally just because the artwork on the covers is often really cool. But I just got the subscription on its own. It's, forget the GameStop part at this point because I don't go to GameStop anymore. And there's a reason for that. And it's a lot of what we're talking about here. So I don't know, Graham. You have EV up in Canada, and it's basically the same thing.
Basically the same thing. Yeah.
So what's your experience there? When's the last time you went into one?
Well, around Christmas time I was in there, and they have a lot of Funko Pops.
They do.
And the way they stack it is like they're all like completely stacked. So if you want one here, you have to strategically take it out while you're putting another one in, or the whole thing's gonna fall over. So, like, I feel like they can come up with a better idea for these Funko Pops. But yeah, like now they're just rammed with stuff, and you basically there's really no room if somebody's going the other way and you're going the other way. So I feel like there is some places, but they're not all like that either, right? Some stores are bigger, some are smaller. But yeah, I don't like how they push all this pre-order stuff on you, and if you didn't pre-order, you can't get the game, and they're not all the same. For me, like some EV games, they're more friendly and they have more stuff, and they're not pushing everything on you. So it all depends. But
sure,
yeah, when I feel like people are pressing me, that's when I'm more likely to not go there, and I'll just go to Walmart or wherever.
Yeah. Well, in Walmart, the only thing you got to do is wait a half an hour to get somebody with keys to open the damn case for you.
And then another half an hour since they only have one register open.
Yeah, out of the 35. But they do have self-checkouts. But then at self-checkout, you have to wait for somebody to come and unlock the case that the game is in, even though it was locked in a sliding glass door case, too. So,
All these problems are solved by just shopping on Amazon. Or digitally.
Exactly. Yes, or digitally. But speaking of digital, that's the cause for a lot of this, right? It's, they're losing a lot of revenue because physical game sales have dropped considerably over the course of this generation. And at the beginning of this current gen, people were like, no, physical game sales all the way. I want to be able to own the game, quote unquote, even though, whatever, that's a whole other conversation. But I want to own it and I want to be able to trade it in and all this stuff. Well, as physical game sales dropped, then the revenue from that obviously goes down, and they have to find other ways to survive. They've had extremely limited success with that, and that's putting it nicely. So then they tried the cell phone thing for a while. Like they did that, and then they tried a couple other things. I think they're going to try for like some board game themed stuff now a little bit. And then a lot on the collectibles, but they're not keeping up. And then what ends up happening too is like GameStop makes their money off of used game sales, like period. So with people buying less physical copies, they're getting less trade-in copies, And so they're paying less for each of them, and that pisses people off because people already think that they should get, $55 for a $60 game when they trade it in. And that's not how it always works.
I disagree with that.
Talk.
When they have less copies is when they buy it for more money. The reason you get $1.65 for something is because they have 600 copies in the store.
No. Okay, yeah. You're definitely right there. What I'm getting at though is when the revenue stream in total for used game sales drops, then maybe those initial prices aren't going to be as high. And what I mean by that is like rather than offering $50 for a brand new game, it might be 45. Something like that to maximize revenue on the sales that they do get, or maximize profit, I should say, on the sales they do get. But that's where they're getting their profit, is on the used game side. Like the new games have such a tiny margin to them that they don't get anything from that. So they survived off of used game sales. So, but I think too relevancy plays a part. So you take in Madden in July, right before the new one comes out, you're going to get like $2 for the game, and you can't be mad about that. I don't think you can, but I just don't think it's warranted. It's not a time where people want last year's Madden anymore. So, but I don't know, guys. I mean, I can't remember the last time I traded in a game at GameStop. I also can't really remember the last time I bought a game physically. I think it was an MLB
Trading in a game.
Oh, dude, I used to because they used to have the thing where if you trade in like 5+ games or something, you get the
extra
bonus
percentage.
Yeah, and I would wait for those, and I would just take them in, and I didn't even need to get anything that day. I would just have the card with like freaking
Credit.
$200 on there. Yeah,
There were times where I would trade in games that I still kind of wanted just to pump the numbers up, especially cheap games.
Yep.
Just to get to that 5, just to get the extra points, and then I'd buy the game back later if I wanted it again.
Yep. No,
I made money on Just Cause 2. I bought it, and then I traded it in, and then I bought it again, and like I made like $5. So I saved $5 on. All right, I guess that didn't make.
You got paid $5 to play Just Cause 2. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. If GameStop wants to stick around, and I kind of hope they do, because I do like GameStop, they need to adapt. Best Buy adapted. Circuit City did not, even though Circuit City is coming back supposedly. But yeah, I mean, you could probably do decently with like board games if you pick some of the more popular but like niche ones, if that makes sense. I know that's kind of an oxymoron, but what I mean by that is like Monopoly's probably not going to do it unless you're getting themed Monopoly games of like Zelda, Mario, Nintendo products. I'm sure there's a Nintendo Monopoly, and if there's not,
yes,
oh yeah.
But you could also get like Settlers of Catan, which is a game where, a lot of people have never even heard of, even though it's like extremely popular. And you could turn into maybe a board game or like a D&D or Magic the Gathering type shop. And because like even local game stores have been, I only have a couple around me and they're not exactly close. So if I could find a place where I could buy some of that stuff, I don't know, like sell Bloodborne the video or the board game, on top of the gaming sales. There's probably ways to adapt. They just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're trying.
But I think those decisions, the problem is those decisions aren't being made from a like culture standpoint, like what a gamers want. They're being made from a financial standpoint, what can get us the most profit. And while that always sounds great in a boardroom, it never translates to success on ground level, you know? So
I think we're probably going to see a time where they shut down like half their stores and only in big markets and then kind of build back up, and it's going to suck, but and I don't want that. I just think that's
digital's been the biggest killer for them.
Oh, for sure. Well, Digitalgram, and then making the wrong decisions and how to adapt to that. I think too, like they've made some poor decisions that have affected, I think, not only the consumer negatively, but sometimes their own employees. And there's a popular channel on YouTube with a former GameStop employee that, just tells stories from GameStop. And, like, according to him, he got sued by the company or something and all that stuff. So, I don't know. But, I hope they survive them with you, Steven. I'm not optimistic though. So let me ask you guys this: on January 1st, 2023, is GameStop still in business?
Yeah, but it's gonna be a shell of it, the shell of its former self.
Okay. Graham?
I feel like yes, because there's not many stores around that are like GameStop or EB Games.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they'll still be around.
I don't think they will.
All right.
I think I think they'll get close to that, but sometime during 2022, I see, because they've already shut down so many stores and laid off so many people. You can only do that another time or two before it's time to just shut her down. So we'll see. All right, Steve, let's turn it over to you for our quick time event news stories.
And boy, do we have a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so first up is we got 2 new non-mainline Kingdom Hearts games on the way. One's mobile, they just announced it. The next one hopefully is coming at some point soon. We'll hear something. The next main Kingdom Hearts game will be a while away, which sucks. We have got 4 new games coming to Game Pass this month. Plague Tale: Innocence and Indivisible came on yesterday on the 23rd, and then we got Sea Salt and Fishing Sim World Pro Tour on the 30th. Wasteland Remastered comes out February 25th on PC and Xbox and Game Pass. To set you up for Wasteland 3, which is coming May 19th. We got Devolver Digital teased a Hotline Miami collection for the Xbox on their Twitter, so interested to see if that's ever coming. I know a lot of people like that game. If you're a fan of Untitled Goose Game and the devil that is the goose, there might be a Lego set coming. If you're into that sort of thing, you can vote on it. It's one of those like fan submission things that, you know, get a Lego set, but that could be possible. And finally, hidden, but I did see it, Alan Wake is back on the Xbox Store. They fixed their stuff. Actually, not finally, but it is back on the Xbox Store. You can now buy it again. The music licensing thing got fixed.
That's what I say. That was the issue, right?
Yep. And now, finally, a new Splinter Cell confirmed. Not really, though, unfortunately. But the Rainbow Six creative director has rejoined Ubisoft in a bigger capacity. He was the creative director for the last 2 Splinter Cell games. So let's see what's happened. It's Maxime Belland. Interesting timing. Maybe we'll see some new Splinter Cell. Finally.
Will this be the year that people's dreams come true at E3?
I hope. I'm not going to say yes because, you know.
Yeah.
All right, which one is most likely? Splinter Cell, the new Skate game, or Fable?
Fable and Splinter Cell are tied. And Skate is at the very, 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 very bottom.
Okay.
Like
Graham?
Well, I really like Skate, so...
Yeah,
like,
pick one. Which one's most likely?
It's not which one you
Fable.
like most, it's which one's most
Yeah.
likely, Graham.
Yeah, well, I would like to see Skate, but I'm going to go with Fable.
I'd like to see $1 million on this table, but it's not going to happen.
Alright.
So,
Tyler,
all right.
your answer.
I think Fable's the most likely by far. So, that's just me.
I like to say by far, but yes.
I do. I just think I think everything we've seen suggests that it's fairly far into development at this point. It's not coming out this year, but next year. So, all right. How about some questions?
All right.
What do we got?
2 times asked, do you think Nintendo will release Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 and a Nintendo Switch Pro this year?
No. No, and maybe yes. I don't know. On the second one.
No on Breath of the Wild 2, probably on Switch Pro.
Yeah.
I'm with Steven on this one. Breath of the Wild 2, not quite yet, but very, very good chance there's going to be a Switch Pro. Especially competing with, like, not directly competing, but Xbox got new consoles, PlayStation got new consoles, so not specifically for the console war, but just to be out there with the big boys.
I think if they do it, they need to do it over the summer.
That's probably
Not,
what they'll do.
don't
it.
wait for the fall. So
Yeah, I don't see them doing fall.
okay, cool. What else we got?
All right. Phoenix asks, are there any games you are looking forward to coming out this year but are worried/nervous about pre-ordering due to letdowns and waste of money? Cough.
All
Anthem.
of them. All of them. I don't know. You guys have any that stand out to you?
Well, the only game that's still around in the spring window is Watch Dogs 3, so I guess that wins by default.
Yeah, I got Doom as well, I guess. But
It's already been delayed once, and
yeah.
I don't know. The game looks really, really cool. I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm not super worried about that one because I don't
But
trust
I don't
Bethesda.
think Doom
but-
was a letdown in the past year.
Yeah.
If we're talking this year, I'm not going to pre-order Avengers until we actually see reviews on it.
Yeah, I'm not pre-ordering Avengers.
As much as the game looks better and better every time they show it, I just kind of want to wait and see on it.
Yeah, there's nothing I'm really worried about either. Because I
Mhm.
just don't pre-order games because there's no benefit anymore.
Everything we could make an argument about being worried about has already gotten delayed.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to say Watch Dogs 3 wins by default just because
Mhm.
it's the only game still coming out that's not Doom. That hasn't already been delayed.
yeah, that's fair. All right, what else?
All right. KC says, with the rumors of a Knights of the Old Republic remake, if you could remake any game, what would it be and how would you remake it?
Graham, you got anything on this one?
Not right at the moment. A game remake. Yeah. Either one of you guys?
I mean, I guess
Does Fable
maybe.
count?
Yeah, it does. I guess. Maybe a BioShock. I don't know. I feel like although I just don't know how much you could do, how much you could make it better by remaking it. It's just better graphics, I guess. But the game's so cool and has. I mean, the shooting could be improved a little bit, sure, but the game is so cool and the environment is awesome. I don't know. Yeah,
How
well,
about
I'm going to give mine. Well, if you have one, Graham.
Super Mario World?
Don't we get a new one of those every year?
They're not like
Not quite, but
yeah, they're like different types, but like one with Mario and Luigi and Yoshi and
didn't we just get one last year that was it was the Wii U port, but
Oh, you know what? I have an answer. Go do yours first.
you mean like the paper one or something?
no, I mean the new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe thing, or is that a different game? I don't know. I've never played Super Mario World.
Oh, yeah, that was like yeah, that's kind of like that, but a newer one. Yeah,
I
Super
want
Mario.
Lost Odyssey, a sequel, a remake. I don't care. Give it to me. It was the best RPG of last year or last gen. With some of the coolest like side stories and like the main story was kind of garbage, but everything else was awesome.
Mhm.
Give that to me. I need it. I need it.
All right, you want my answer now? Because I think this is a good one. I want Wii Sports remade for the Switch.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yep.
So you
That's
stole
why
my
it came to me.
answer because I forgot it.
That's why it came to me because we were talking about it. But yeah, like how awesome would that be? And I wonder if they're not doing those types of games because people who exclusively play handheld, portable, would have a tougher time playing it.
So
I-
sucks for them.
yeah. I don't know. Graham, would you get it?
Yeah, probably.
Yes, you would. Come on. You first of all, you buy every Switch game there is, and sometimes 3 times.
Yes, I would get it.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
that play it handheld could do it. They just set it up with the tabletop mode and unattach the thing, and then they can play that way. They're fine. Give that to us. Switch Sports. What, Nintendo? Are you allergic to money?
I lose my Switch 3 times a year, and I'm telling you right now, I would buy it on day one. If they release that title again, just saying. All right, what else we got?
Last one.
Sure.
Xbot Toss says, seeing the current collection of Game Pass games and Microsoft's promise to put all first-party games on the service, do you think Game Pass will influence people to buy the next-gen Xbox?
Yeah.
I think
I
it's the
think-
opposite.
You do? Okay.
I think
Yeah, well, I see where you're going with that. Yep.
I think
Go ahead.
there's a likelihood that it's going to keep people from buying the new Xbox right away, especially with the rumors of forward compatibility.
But
So,
like, we're thinking people that don't even own an Xbox. Like, does this make it more appealing to buy like an Xbox? And I would say yes.
Sure, but why buy the new one when you could buy the old one and still get all the new games?
Yeah.
Like you can get a One X, for
Yeah,
$150
guess.
by probably
That is a good point.
fall, maybe 200.
But hasn't Xbox sort of made it clear now that they care more about you joining the Xbox family than which box you do it with?
Oh, I don't
So,
care that that's the case. Like
yeah.
I think it's good. I think it gets them more
Yep.
people. I just don't think it's
So-
going to influence people to buy the new one right away.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, like, I think we need to start getting used to the idea that the console wars in terms of like which box sells more is a thing of the past. And because if people switch to the Xbox ecosystem, and they might hold off on buying a Series X for a while, but they might get the One X and then be able to play all this new stuff for a year and have Game Pass and all that, everything that comes with that. Has an Xbox won that consumer at that point because they got them in and they're now paying that, whatever a month for Game Pass and Xbox Live and all that type of thing. Plus they're buying, well, they don't, I guess they wouldn't need to buy Halo and Forza with Game Pass, but they're into the ecosystem at that point and they can upgrade when there's $100 price drop on the Series X, and cool. They're still going to be buying Xbox games, which by the way is where Microsoft makes their money. So, and hard and accessories more so even. So I think that's just more where it is, and I think we, I know there's going to be, because it's the horse race and all that stuff, people are going to care like which box sells better, but I don't know that that's as relevant as it used to be. That's just me.
Graham?
Sorry, I know it was just a question. I had to give like a huge answer. So
Yeah. Sorry, what's the question again?
Do you think that Game Pass is going to influence people to buy the next gen Xbox?
Oh yeah. No. I already talked about it. I said yes.
Oh. Oh, because
Yeah,
you didn't have a 3-minute like spiel on it.
I know I'm owning it. I talked that damn long, and we forgot Graham answered it. So anyway.
I guess.
I've
All right,
been
we'll
really-
do one more because it fits
Okay.
right out on the backside. So Casey, you get another question in. How much would the new consoles have to cost for you to not buy them?
Who wants to go first on this one?
Like not buy it right away, per se.
Yeah.
I would say 700 would be too much.
Okay.
That's kind of
How
where
about
I
for the
was.
PlayStation?
Probably same thing.
Okay.
I don't think the PlayStation will be as powerful, so
Mhm.
it should be cheaper. But they might have other things to make up for it. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna say the same price.
Okay. Steven?
At 600, I am questioning because just
When I
the
said 700,
timing.
I meant Canadian.
The timing
Yeah.
means I'll be doing something where I don't know if I'm going to be able to work, which means I don't know how much extra money I'm going to spend. So,
Mhm.
the more expensive that box gets, the more I'm not able to buy it right away. So 600 is going to be kind of tough to swallow. Anything more than that's going to be, I'm out.
Yeah. So for me, it's because I'm with you, Graham. I think the PS5, while powerful, won't be as quite as much of a beast as the Series X. So I'm gonna have a really tough time going in on a PS5 at more than 500. I'm gonna have a tough time going in on the Series X at more than 6.
And I think it
So-
depends what games come out with it. If there's
Mhm.
not a lot of games, then I am not stomaching that price. I'm not paying
And
$600 to
especially-
play one game.
Exactly. I'm
And
100% with you.
PlayStation especially.
Yep, I'm 100% with you, and I don't know that we're gonna get anything because we know we're getting Last of Us on the 4, right? And we know we're getting Ghost of
Spider-Man
Tsushima
2.
on the 4. So it's I don't know what's gonna be there at launch for them to say, here's a tentpole franchise that you all know and love that you have to have now, and it's only playable on the 5. So
Uncharted.
We will know 100% what we're doing 5 months from now.
oh, for sure, yep. Yeah, I don't know.
There you go.
It's tough to say, but MLB The Show was one of the games that got me to buy PS4 last time, and that is not going to be a thing anymore because it's going to be on everything. So
As long as they keep God of War on there, And maybe if they bring it to PC like they're doing with some of their games,
Mm-hmm.
then I won't need to get a PlayStation.
Yeah. All right. Wow, they said $800 and
Chat.
yeah, for the PlayStation. Really? You'd spend $800 on a PlayStation?
No, that's
okay.
the answer to what you wouldn't spend.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well,
Well,
spend
that means up to.
$750.
So, thank you guys. It was a good episode. As always, we thank our patrons. Thank you guys on Patreon. Thanks to all our patrons. Special shout outs to those that are at the certain tier: Carlos Al Williams, Michael Florian, Grant Pfeiffer, Damian Satevsky, and Casey Bright. Appreciate all you guys. You guys get your name shouted out at the end of episode. But thank you guys to all our patrons. We can't do the stuff we want to do without you guys, especially like going to E3, and that's coming up very quickly.
Yep.
So,
And there's other stuff we want to go to this year. We're holding it in right now, but we'll hopefully talk about it later. So anyway, join the community. Head on over to thegaminghub.tv for the links to everything. But real quick, Facebook, the Gaming Hub forums, Twitter @GamingHubCast, here on Mixer, mixer.com/the_gaming_hub. Hit follow Spence Sparks. Come hang out. It's a good time. And finally, patreon.com/gaminghub for as low as $2 a month to get bonus content and just help support the show and the community and help us grow. So that would be awesome if you would choose to do that. All right, guys, let's get out of here. This has been episode number 196. We'll be back next week with 197. Until then, have a great week, everybody, and we will talk to you soon.
yeah, and we might have something special for you guys. Look forward to next week, so check that out. All right,
Be
bye-bye.
safe and take care, everyone.
Bye.